Hey y'all, it's Taylor Bridges here. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. If you would be so kind, please like, comment, and subscribe to your girl's channel. I'm here. I'm going to be putting these videos out consistently. I'm not going anywhere. So come join me. Give me your feedback, comments, difference of opinion, anything. I don't care. If I yawn during the video like I did last video, it's because my heater is at my feet and I'm all cozy, and when I'm warm or when I'm cold, I yawn. So that's that. But this is Harlem Season 2, Episode 8. This episode is titled Joy, 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 Joy. And this was a great episode. I loved this episode. The episode opens celebrating joyous occasions like Angie landing a lead role, and Camille's successful opening reception for her Black Joy exhibit, and I hope we'll get to see it. And Quinn is back to normal now that she's on meds. I don't know how much time at this point in the episode has lapsed, but I don't think it works like that, but maybe it does. But I don't think it does. But maybe it does. Quinn asks Angie if she's happy for her, and I was confused. Like, Angie is the most happy for her, I would think. Like, she's the most happy for her. Where's the disconnect? Because there's an awkward vibe going between them. Eric is coming back from his gig, and that's the dude whose apartment Angie is staying in currently. So Camille asks if Quinn and Angie are going to be back rooming together, meaning Angie going back to stay at Camille's. They both abruptly say no, and that there's nothing to discuss. And this is what happens when you have a codependent relationship. The slightest change can cause a huge upset in the dynamic. Like the slightest change. Because both parties are relying on the other person remaining the same. They rely on it. They rely on each other that greatly, that if the other person changes their routine, their way, like whatever, once there's like a change, the slightest, it causes disruption. Quinn says that Angie thinks that she's upset about Michael, and I could totally see Quinn being jealous of Angie. For so long, Quinn has had a higher status and probably has had it a little easier than Angie. She's used to Angie being the one who needs all the saving and all the guidance. And now that Angie is in a position of stability all around, especially with having a solid relationship, and Quinn's life, on the contrary, needs a bit of rebuilding, which there is nothing wrong with, I think she's in her feelings about it. Even if Quinn is with Keith, it doesn't matter. Because Quinn isn't fooling me. She is not back to herself yet. She's trying to rush the process and jump into life again like nothing ever happened, like she was never depressed. And that's just not how depression works. Then she makes a super remark about if you have sex with an Uber driver or something, I'll stay out of it. Like, watch your mouth. We're not talking about sex with Uber drivers. We're talking about Angie and her man, whom she's in a relationship with. Watch it. Those type of friends you have to be careful with. And I'm sure we're going to end the season with everybody having a big kumbaya, but in real life, that friendship will be over. If I get a whiff of some jealousy and you start making these shady, borderline insulting remarks as a result, I'm done with you. Like, just because you're in a valley of life doesn't mean you try to knock your friend down from their peak. Instead, why not feed off that energy? Why not feed off, like, I'm at my valley and she's at my best friend. Like, let me get some of that. Let me feed off of that. And if you can't do that, at least stay away. Like, we're human. So, feelings of jealousy, envy, comparison, whatever, they all happen in different forms. But at least be adult enough to catch yourself and watch your words. If you're, like, let's say you're grossed out or annoyed because your friend, she got a new man, and every time you're around them, they're just all affectionate and PDA and I love you and right? And it's like, I get it if it like annoys you and it like grosses you out and stuff, but like after so long, you gotta be like, all right, look at me hating. They ain't did nothing to me at the end of the day. I'm just in my feelings because I don't have anybody to hug on and kiss on myself. But at least let me stop projecting my negativity and my, whatever vibe I'm giving off onto them, because at the end of the day, I am genuinely happy for my friend. Even if like if I have the angel and the devil, if the devil part of me just wants to have an attitude and be like, ugh, they're gross, like, oh, they'll break up in 2 weeks. You know what I mean. I don't think like that necessarily, but you know what I mean. Like that devil character on us just want to be in our feelings and a little jealous, a little hating. But like, okay, fine. Like, we're human. But have some decency to be like, all right, let me lay off, because at the end of the day, she do look happy over there. And even if it only lasts 2 weeks, look, you never know, right? You have to watch those friends that are only happy for you when things are good for you and also going good for them. Like, how can they show up for you when things aren't as good for you? Even Quinn and Angie's dynamic, like, somebody like Quinn is so used to most things being her way, and it's the contrary for Angie. So now that Quinn isn't getting her way and Angie is, Quinn probably feels exposed and uncomfortable. Because notice how Quinn is happy for Camille and her endeavors, but she's hating on Angie, the closest to her. But yeah, I wouldn't fool with Quinn anymore, personally. Like, we're too grown, and it's just not worth it. Like, it's not worth having somebody around me that just can't congratulate me and be happy for me. And I understand we go through things that hinder us for showing up fully for our friends. Like, I totally get it. But like I said, if you're in a funk or something, separate yourself a little bit so you don't spread that energy unnecessarily. You know what I mean? And if you do happen to want your friends around while you're in that funk, you have to have enough decency to not, be all negative, not rain on the parade. Especially when they're trying to bring you some sunshine. Like, you insulting Angie trying to get on her when they're all just there to be supportive of you, Quinn. Well, not like literally they're at brunch to be supportive of you, but in the moment, the conversation, like, they're there to be supportive of you. And Angie was that friend for Quinn, like the best friend for Quinn, and has always been, no matter what Angie was going through. Angie has been in a valley for a long while, and she had no qualms about being supportive of Quinn, So now that the tables have turned, Quinn has proven to be a pretty one-sided friend. Like, Angie would drop anything to be there for Quinn. And yes, Quinn has helped Angie many times, especially providing a roof over her grown-ass head. But emotionally, Quinn is feeling right now as a friend. Like, this is a tide change. This is like a huge tide change for somebody like Angie. Like, it's like celebration worthy. Like, this is exactly what everybody's been wishing for Angie to finally do. Literally, she's finally making some money. She has a stable romantic relationship. She doesn't need to crash on Quinn's couch. Quinn should be technically the first one jumping for joy, if you ask me. But no, she'd prefer Angie's self-esteem in the toilet and for her to count on her for survival and attention. And all of this because Quinn is confused about who she is and can't be alone. Quinn needs control. So Angie is like her emotional support dog. It's easier to cry to my friend and give her the responsibility of being my underqualified therapist than it is to face my reality with a professional and uncover some harsh truths to rebuild my confidence in my mental health. I wouldn't mess with Quinn like that again if I were Angie. That's me. And now Angie is potentially letting Quinn's hating comments seep into her brain. She's now second guessing her relationship with Michael. They can try to wrap Quinn's storyline up with a bow if they want to, but Quinn is foul as far as I'm concerned. And she owes Angie, like, beyond an apology. Like, she's moving super shysty, like a hater, a super hater. Like, for real, it's not cool to me. It's been 2 weeks since Quinn has been back with Keith. So yes, it's definitely not been enough time to be back to normal. Like, I was thinking, are antidepressants supposed to work on their own, or are they recommended in conjunction with therapy? I'm no professional, so I don't know. If you know, please inform me. I have to ask my homegirl. Hey, Soleil. When I see her this Friday. But I do know that antidepressants alone don't solve an identity crisis. Antidepressants do not solve an identity crisis, and a damn show don't do it in 2 weeks. Quinn just wants everything perfect in her world, and she wants to take shortcuts to get it. I'm not fooled by her fake smile. Michael comes by Quinn's shop saying Angie broke up with him because Quinn comes first in her life. And that made me so annoyed at Angie. That is so stupid. First of all, Quinn is a grown-ass woman. You did not give birth or come from Quinn. And this is why their self-esteem is so low. You need to come first in your own life, especially over your friend. I love my friends. I love my friends. But no, this is childish. And I think Mike should actually run. Like, either Mike is going to turn out to be crazy too, or he a simp. Because think about it, ladies. What would you think if your boyfriend said, my best friend came first? My best friend comes first. Whether your man's best friend is a girl, a woman, or a man. Either way, I don't see how either scenario makes sense. Or is cool. Or is attractive. Think about that. I think it's grossly childish. And so far, for Mike to still be interested in Angie, I think it's a red flag. But then, ding, 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 he said it. He's been so used to being alone. His type used to be anybody who liked him. So, he's a simp. Knew it. If he, too, has low self-esteem, he can end up being very insecure. Angie could end up having a very insecure partner on her hands. Because we all know Angie is very free. She's very sex positive. She's, like, liberated. All these things. If he's a simp with his low self-esteem, he's going to come with heavy insecurities. But I do have more faith in him than not, since he did mention that he took some time off the dating scene to get to know himself and love himself. That's exactly what Quinn needs to be doing, instead of jumping from body to body to shield herself from uncovering reality. Ty is adding polyamory hopefuls to her dating site to expand her reach. I think it's a great idea. I was like, has that already been created in real time? Because that's a dope idea. I know in New York, at least, I don't know if it's everywhere. Well, it's an app, so probably so. But there's this app, I don't remember the name of it, but it's like for Muslims. I thought that was cool, like super specific. So, some app for polyamory isn't like far-fetched. So I'm like, has it been created? She pulls up to the plant shop, and the plant lady Amy asks Ty on a date. Ty's crazy behind it, just realizing that Amy even likes her like that. And you already know, we already called it over here on this channel that Amy, plant lady, was going to be Ty's love interest. And Ty has been super nervous, vulnerable, and even petty with this lady. Remember when she was, going back and forth about the discount price, just bothering this lady, being a nuisance. Like, it's like Ty was acting like when your kindergarten crush hits you because he likes you. Just being petty. Just they got nothing better to do. Just grouchy. But their date starts immediately. Amy asks Ty, and Amy isn't falling for Ty's typical tricks. She wants to, she's not here to go with Ty's usual for everything. She's not here to just fit into Ty's world. Amy's lived. Okay, this is somebody who is sure of herself. She's open and ready for love. Amy has genuine intentions, it seems like. She has some business of her own. Literally has a business of her own. So she's not going to be chasing Ty around, worrying about what Ty is doing. And she knows what she wants. And she's an older woman. I'm like, she going to put that older woman thing on Ty, and Ty's not going to know what to do with herself. I literally said in one of my earlier videos that Ty was going to end up falling for somebody heavily, and she's going to put herself in a position to potentially be heartbroken. I'm not saying she's going to be heartbroken, but you know that when you really love somebody, they have the ability to break your heart. I think she's going to get vulnerable to that point. I'm not saying the heartbreak is going to happen. I'm saying she's going to get so vulnerable to the point where she might really love Amy, I believe, in this season. But I don't know. Is episode 8 the last episode? I'm not sure. Is it going to 10 episodes? We'll see. So if this was the ending, which I'll mention later, I'm good with that too. But if not, Tyler's going to fall in love this season. Camille and Ian are together at this like brownstone, and they're going over these renovations and stuff. And I initially thought they like officially living together. Does Camille still have her apartment? But we did end up seeing she still has her apartment. It's just like a plan they're working on with the renovation. Camille asks if they can even afford all of this renovations and stuff with the money that Ian owes to Mira and her family for canceling the wedding. But Ian says it's handled. His parents are going to take out a small home equity loan, and then month by month Ian will pay him back. I immediately thought, like, okay, this is a sign to Camille that Ian is serious about their future, regardless of her being able to have kids or not. So now would be the time. Well, not saying now, literally at that moment, but like, yeah. So that's all the more reason, confirmation why he's who you need to be really telling this to, because clearly y'all are serious. You know what I mean? Like, y'all are serious. So y'all need to communicate that. Then I press play again after jotting that down, and he mentions nursery and babies, and Camille still hasn't told her partner that she can't have kids. And to me, that's completely and utterly wrong, especially since hella people, all her friends, all these people know except the most important person, which is her partner. And he's the most important to me before everybody, because him and Camille have discussed this. And they've in some way set an intention on having a family of some sort together, which involves her womb. And if they don't want a family together, it wouldn't matter if she told him or not, but they do. So it matters. And he doesn't even know what's going on. So Camille is a pro at self-sabotaging. She's just great at it. Something is really wrong with her. She's literally walking around with this weight on her shoulders for no reason. All she has to do is tell Ian, so that he can stop mentioning kids so much without any context as to what you're going through. And y'all could be on the same page and decide what's the next move. But Camille runs away anytime it's time to have a tough conversation. Every time it's time to have a tough, honest conversation, she makes it extremely difficult. But yet she has the expectation she's going to have successful relationships. When Camille and Jameson are working on the research project in her apartment, Quinn's mom pops up. Whether unlocked or not, don't open my door and let yourself in. Like, Miss Quinn's mom, can Camille come just walk up in your place? Like, that's rude. She's asking if Quinn's okay, and that's because it's clear Quinn is trying to pretend like she's okay. Like, I think Quinn doesn't want to seem crippled or incapable after coming out about being depressed and on medication, but no one is expecting a depressed person to be cured of depression in 2 weeks. So yeah, she's more than likely still not okay. And that's not to say that strides couldn't have been made, right? Or that she's not in a good mood in these 2 weeks, but it does require a bit of breaking down to build back up. And Quinn isn't really fond of being uncomfortable just yet. So we already know that thus far she hasn't dug deep just yet. Camille confides that she doesn't know if she wants kids. And Quinn's mom gives her all this quirky wisdom, but she basically says, if motherhood is for you, you'll know. And I totally agree. I think Camille is making this all more difficult than it needs to be. Tell Ian what the situation is. Y'all discuss from there. At least that way it's just off your shoulders, because it is what it is. There's no sense in carrying that burden. It is what it is. Like, that's that. So I wish she would just tell him it's no sense in you being stressed out about not being as fertile and stressed out about what Ian's going to think about it. Like, I don't think it's worth it. Just talk to this man. Ian is linking with his aunt and tells, and the aunt played by Bevy Smith, whom I love, tells him he can't be asking his parents to pay for the wedding that never happened. Like, this was your supposed wedding, and he says it's just a loan. But the aunt mentions that drama follows Ian everywhere, so something's bound to happen. And I'm like, that's really interesting. Like, I believe they brought up why he came back from Paris. Wasn't it Paris Ian came back from? Was it Ian who came back? Dang it. Or was it Camille? Never mind. Let me not even go into it because I don't remember. But if it was Ian who went to Paris or something, because that's when he got good at cooking, right? Maybe, did he come? I'm sure they talked about something why he came back first season. I don't remember. But I could totally see him, drama following him everywhere. The aunt ends up giving Ian a check for $68,000 to pay the bill and be done, not to be paid back. It's a gift. And all she's asking is for him to grow up. And I'm like, Ian went through all this trouble, all this wasting time and money just to know he wants to be with Camille. But that's what makes them great for each other. You know, they both self-sabotage. They're both selfish. They need constant rescuing. And they wreak havoc. They cause more issues. But I do think Auntie giving Ian the money was a huge mistake. He's grown. He should be able to figure it out. Like, this was super duper his mess. Turns out that the joy montages from the ladies was a part of Camille's exhibition. So that's where we are. The ladies approve of Amy for Ty. But you see how Quinn was happy for her? I don't blame Angie for throwing shade at Quinn about it, because Angie shouldn't have even broken up with Mike to begin with. Especially for Quinn to still just be pouting. Like, don't leave this man for Quinn and you still mad walking around, Angie. Like, you made your decision. Lie in it. You said that that's your priority, so roll out the red carpet for her. Be her lap dog. Be her emotional support dog. That's what you chose. You weren't forced to make that decision. Dr. Pruitt enjoyed the exhibition. Camille had some meetings scheduled with all these reputable schools, and her mom showed up to support. So I'm like, this is a great moment for Camille. It was a successful event all around. Great job, Camille. But I was like, where's Ian? Where is Ian? We didn't see Ian till later in the episode, once everybody was like dancing, like the super end. Like, we didn't see Ian for a minute. Dr. Pruitt says she doesn't know if she's ready to let. Dr. Pruitt tells Jameson that she doesn't know if she's ready to let Camille go just yet. That's understandable, right? But Jamie says he doesn't know if he's ready to let Camille go either. So is Jameson about to fight for Camille? But I know this seems romantic to some people, but that actually sounds like pretty stressful to be on the receiving end of like a stream affection from a current boyfriend and an ex-boyfriend. Like, how fun is that? You know what I mean? Like, especially if you take one or the other like seriously, like, why? That's not fun. It's like super threatening to the relationship and just overwhelming. But Camille will definitely succumb to Jameson's advances after a while. After so much persistence, she'll give in. She can't help it. So I am excited to see the train wreck. But I'm saying I'm excited now because I love the drama in the show. But I know when it happens, in the moment, I'll most likely be extremely pissed at Camille's stupidity. But nevertheless, I'll be engaged. I'll be tuning in. Quinn is walking Angie to meet Mike. I already knew what was happening right when the scene started. It was too easy. Amy isn't ready for sex with Ty just yet. And this is great for Ty because she's so used to having sex before asking like names. Like having sex first, name second. So it's great for her to experience, liking somebody for them and how you feel when you're with them without sex blinding you and, being all as a factor. But she gets a you up text from her cuddle buddy, a fellow savage in these streets. So she obliges and has the girl come over. But before they can even do anything, Amy texts her to come back over. So I'm like, it must be sex. Because all this back and forth at night, what else, sis? Because it's too much. Like, it's Harlem, it's late. Amy just wants to chill and cuddle and talk. But that is just as fun, I ain't gonna lie. But, y'all, Harlem made us clutch our pearls. Ty goes to use the restroom, and Amy warns her not to wake her kid. Child, Amy's daughter is Zoe, the chick that Ty was just about to have sex with, who she's already been having sex with very frequently. So Ty has sex with the daughter, but likes being with the mom. This is about to be messy. Ian and Camille are cleaning up after the exhibition, and Camille expresses that the feeling she feels executing this sort of work is the kind of baby and the kind of mothering that she's interested in. And I think it's a smart decision. Even if she were fertile, we only live once. And feeling the way that Camille described she felt about her exhibition and the upcoming work she has to do is a very special feeling that not everyone feels towards what they do. So she has to bask in this and really ride the wave of this inspiration and ambition. So I'm glad she's feeling this good about her career. So I'm excited next season. I already said it. Give us more of Dr. Camille. Like, show us her professorship, show us her research, show us her intellect. She's using this moment to tell Ian about her infertility, and she confessed that she feels relief about the slightly bad news because she doesn't know if she wants kids. But that's also like slightly messed up, because you could have at least told him that, even if you didn't tell him about what the doctor thinks. Like, y'all can discuss that much now that you have a big question mark about kids. But at the same time, I give her grace, because it's clear that most likely she didn't know until now. Until she knew, what her stance on motherhood was. So that's fine. Ian dreams of being a father, and Camille doesn't share in that dream, and they deserve to have what they want in life. So they should totally break up. Like, why endure the heartbreak? They can remain cordial and still love each other as friends, and they can walk away gracefully, knowing that there was no good guy, no bad guy, no blame game. Their futures simply don't align, and we deserve to spend our lives and spend lives with the person who shares in the same vision as themselves for the type of family they want to raise. It's that simple. Because having kids and building a family is a whole choice. So it's like, you don't have to like just settle for these extremities. Like, you really want kids and she doesn't know if she wants kids. Y'all are both getting older. Y'all are both in y'all 30s. By this point, she's grown enough to know. So no, y'all should break up. All the ladies are at urgent care, and somebody's baby is okay. Whose baby? They have me clutching my pearls again after the Ty situation and after Ian and Camille. I'm glad they broke up though. But my guess is that the baby thing is for Angie. Mike has all these nostalgic comfort items for Angie, and the scenes are kind of mixed up. I'm sorry. Mike has all these nostalgic items for Angie. It was super sweet. He got help from Quinn. Angie deserves this. And she deserves, the people around her to be thoughtful and try to make her feel special. I was already crying about the nostalgic gifts. And then you see the scratch off saying, "Will you marry me?" So I was a wreck. I was sobbing. Quinn meets with Keith. She's acting standoffish. And she starts with her whole breakup monologue, but ultimately she says she needs to find herself and fall back in love with the person that I don't know, love herself basically. And Keith took it like a champ. But yeah, so my notes were a little mixed up, but ultimately the episode ends with all the ladies at the OB-GYN or the urgent care. Somebody's baby is okay. I think it's Angie. I think this might be the season finale because a lot happened. Camille and Ian broke up. Ty is now in this love triangle with a mother and daughter unknowingly. Angie's now engaged, and Quinn just broke up with this dude to go have self-love. So this might be the end, but we might get another 2 episodes. We will see. But I really, really enjoyed this episode. It was a lot going on, and they packed a lot in the time frame. I think this episode was like 40 something minutes, but still, like, I felt like a lot happened. But all in all, I thank you so much for tuning in. And if there's another couple episodes of this upcoming weekend, you know I got you. So tune back in for that. And if not, this show, again, I have a plethora of other shows. We get it popping over here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm reviewing all the lit shows, all the shows that I watch and I want to give my opinion on. Please, any feedback, commentary, advice, anything you have to give, please interact with your girl. I'm here. I'm responsive. I'm waiting for you. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye-bye.